Few actors have pulled off that old-school image of the millionaire Hollywood playboy better than George Hamilton. You know, the tuxedos, the beautiful women, the famous friends. But there's more to him than just a gleaming smile and that bronzed permatan. When he was just 12, he actually had a relationship, a sexual relationship with his stepmother. That's something that we're going to get into with him tonight. He was a struggling actor in the 50s before he became a leading man.
I fear I must take my leave.
A successful producer, and working with the likes of Francis Ford Coppola.
Money comes from his own family and will be administered by the Vatican. Answer your question?
And while, yes, he has picked up his share of women, he's also picked up some important life lessons. A big one came from his brother Bill, who died in 1982, and he's the inspiration for George's latest role, the gay nightclub owner in the stage version of La Cage aux Folles.
Bonsoir.
What a treat this is. Please welcome to the program, George Hamilton. Hi, man. Oh, bud. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
Well, if you say that's well done and I just got to my mark, then it's good. I was able to make it to the steps.
You made it to the mark, you grabbed a seat.
Not easy. 73 and I'm still moving.
Was it ever in question? Did you think you might not have made it?
Only on stage. You know, it's interesting. I started the show.
He's doing La Cage aux Folles.
La Cage aux Folles 1 year ago. And the first night, I tore my Achilles.
The first night?
First night of the show. And the doctor said, there's no way for you to go on. You probably will, I can get you a sports doctor to bind it up for you, and you'll get through maybe 5 shows. That's 338 shows ago.
What?
Well, a cheap way to get applause, George.
That's not bad. It's one thing to do La Cage aux Folles. It's an incredibly important production, if you think about what it meant to the artistic community, but the gay community in the early 80s. But with you, it's deeply personal. So tell me who Bill Potter Jr. is.
Well, my brother's name was William Potter Hamilton, and he was I called him my half-brother, half-sister. He was gay, and by my mother's first marriage, and he loved beautiful things. He wanted only to have beautiful things around him. And then at the end of his life, a few days before he passed away, I asked him, I said, what would you do differently if you had to do it again? And he said, I'd love more. It changed my life right then and there. I thought, here's a man on his last leg that only cared about his Rolls Royce and his watch and his whatever, you know, things that were material.
Things that the advertisers tell us we should love.
That's right. And really what he wanted out of life was to love more.
I read a thing you said, one of his past girls was Liz Taylor. But a thing that I read that you...
You mean mine?
Yes. But what
I thought I was not here all of a sudden.
No, his to them, but yours. You said something so beautiful about her once, where you said that all you wanted to do was just to be alone with her. To be alone.
Well, the thing about Elizabeth was that Elizabeth surrounded you like fog. She would be what you want. There are women who decide that they want you to be in their life, and they'll be your best friend. They'll play poker with you or arm wrestle. They don't care. Whatever it is you want them to be. There are women that you can be alone with because you don't have to go duck shooting or hunting with your friends. She'll do it if necessary.
You lost your virginity to whom?
My stepmother when I was 12 years old.
See, today, if you read that, reading it now, it's like, oh my God.
You think it was abusive? And,
yeah. Was it?
Well, in my past looking at it, I didn't see it that way. I mean, I was reaching almost the beginning of puberty in my feeling at that time. And I think there were other more complicating issues to it. I think that while I might have had the desire, and in my mind I was probably provoking that, she may have had issues that I don't know about, and psychologically I can't, but I do know that my stepmother was the woman that my mother found in bed with my father when she was the girl singer to his band in the 1940s. And it ruined her relationship with my father and ours. And so probably in my mind, I thought, this is a way of getting even. Now, that's a Freudian kind of thing, but it could well be that that's the possibility.
When did your father died young?
Did he find out?
Died at 56. No, he didn't. And she had a momentary involvement in a sanitarium. So I've got to believe that he was fighting a terrible, battle himself at that time with her.
What did your mother
Can I just take off this tie and start to lie down now? Because it's getting, this psychoanalysis is going to be a little more demanding than I thought.
Look, at the end of the day, this is the stuff that makes us who we are.
I'll say.
Okay, let me just one more of this, then we can move on. I want to play a clip. This is when I first saw you. This particular piece of film.
Reminds me of you. No.
I think I see that. My eyes are much deeper and my expression is much more arrogant.
I am not so sure.
Zorro the Gay Blade. Zorro the Gay Blade. That was a lot of fun.
I produced that.
What was it? You played?
I played 5 or 6 roles in it. I was so exhausted at the end of that picture. And we produced that movie for $12 million, and I ran out of money. And the only thing that helped me was tequila in Mexico. And somehow I made the movie, got it finished, and it did very well. Foreign, it did well.
It's changed a lot, hasn't it, the business today?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm producing now. I'm going to do a film about, it's just a documentary I'm doing right now, but it's about Errol Flynn's son, Sean Flynn, who was, Errol Flynn was, as you know, he died here in Canada. He was the leading male film star in America at a certain time, and his son went to Vietnam and was captured in Cambodia. And he was doing in life what his father had done in movies. And it's an extraordinary story, and one which I'm now actively involved in doing.
Why is it important to tell that story?
He was my best friend growing up. We grew up in Palm Beach together, and we were arrested the same night on our prom night. I had my arm around my girlfriend, and I was speeding. I said, officer, I can only pay attention to one thing.
Right.
I can either drive or the girl. I can't do both. And they took my license away.
Were you drunk?
No, I wasn't drunk. I was in love. Same thing.
Very similar symptoms, Oz, I find.
Same thing.
Stick around, more with George Hamilton after this.
All right, coming up, pickup secrets from the master himself. Plus, on our panel, very funny, Dan Redican.
We're talking about personal triumphs and regrets. I regret eating 8-day-old Thanksgiving leftovers. I really should have refrigerated them.
George, what in the world are those?
Well, they're all the rage in L.A.
I know. I think you should meet this lady friend of mine.
The computer shows us that square of frames suit you, and gold would complement your tan.
She's complimenting me on my tan.
Back here with George Hamilton, there with Burt Reynolds. The tan thing is a thing to have.
Really?
Yeah.
I got no choice. I've had it since I think I got it at the age of 15, 16. I was white and pasty in school, and I went down to Florida for the week. And I was kind of a gangling Jerry Lewis type looking kid. And I got this incredible tan, and girls started to hit on me. And I thought it must be the tan.
Right.
And I have never dared be without it.
Never. Let me rapid fire a couple of things your way and tell me what you think. How many people can say they put a pause on Elvis Presley's funeral?
Well, I don't think there are many who say it, but I mean, I just happened to be at the right or the wrong place at the right time. It was Elvis's funeral, and I'd gone on his plane to Memphis, and as I walked up to the casket, J.D. Sumner, who was his backup singer, was singing behind a curtain, and I looked in, and I saw some black line here, and I thought, what is that? And I looked again, and I realized it was some form of dye or something, and I told one of his guys, his name was Charlie Hodges, I said, you know, there's something running down. They closed down the thing, and he apparently had done Elvis's hair that day. Elvis's hair was blonde, and they put black dye on it. It was running down pillows. So it was not the most fun thing that you would remind me of, George, but I'm glad you brought it up, along with my stepmother and few other things that totally embarrassed me here. And check, please.
I would argue not embarrassing, exploring. That's what I would. All right, best pickup line you've ever used.
You cannot use good pickup lines. It doesn't work. Speak to them and try to be just engaging. And at the moment where you've made her laugh, don't look at her ever completely on. Look at her this way. And then say, I'm so sorry, I've got to go. That leaves her thinking. She's thinking right about that moment. Is this idiot going to sit here all night and tell me stories? But if you've left her on a good one, she'll think, what has she got better to do? And she'll spend the whole rest of her night trying to get you back. And you can always come back and start the conversation over because you won the evening.
You got a lot of stories, man. Thanks for sharing them. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. And I didn't know what I was getting into. And I can tell you now, I'm going to send you a couch tomorrow.
Good to see you, man. George Hamilton, La Cage aux Folles, and you can see him. It's in Toronto at the Royal Alexandra Theatre through November the 18th. We'll be right back. You're amazing, man. Thank you.